Loyola even got set up on the weekend at Rogers Park.
Well, that's what Porter Mosier says. Brian Mullins knows all our play calls, but when he went to Southern, he changed his calls, so we don't know his.
Game on in America's Renaissance Conference. In the Missouri Valley Conference in Arch Madness, the first possession goes awry for Loyola and a missed layup by Keith Clemens. Southern bothered Loyola over the weekend by stretching them out, using the entire half court like you see here in their 5-out spread.
Yeah, this is also a Loyola defense. They'll defend deep in the shot clock.
Loyola's not allowed over 58 points since January the 10th. I'm not making it up. They've allowed 52 points a game on the average, and there's a bucket from Lucas Williamson to get the Ramblers started.
Well, that's a good sign. They need some points from Williamson, especially in that mid-range area. Now, one thing Loyola worked on the offseason was defending deep in the shot clock, taking away the three ball. They struggled against Southern that game on Saturday night.
Dalton Banks getting the start because of the injury. 46. Henry Iba's got the most wins ever in this league. He would even nod his head and go, that's good work.
Well, they've done a lot of it on the road, too. Has not been at Rogers Park Kill Center. Now, Filowich had trouble scoring on Krutwig when they played in Chicago over the weekend.
Rare turnover by the Ramblers, getting a back down Filowich. The Krutwig numbers are just amazing. We'll present them throughout the afternoon. But historically, he is up there with some of the greatest players ever to play in this league. And this league's been around for 114 years.
The Vons will try and get a high-low post up.
They haven't been terrible early looks for Southern Illinois, just not able to knock them down.
It was the thing about Loyola. They want to run the basketball, but they put you in such long possessions. That's why you see the low scores.
Well, Uguak, again, I mentioned on the most improved team in the league. Second in the Valley in field goal shooting percentage.
Where he's gotten better, Mitch, his ability to finish in traffic at the rim. Uguak, a redshirt senior, started his career at New Mexico. But he's another one of these players besides Lucas Williamson and Krutwig that was on that Final Four team. He was a redshirt that year.
Krutwig able to move inside and get it done, and that's Brian Mullins has seen it. Not allowed over 58 since January the 10th. What makes them so good? Why is Porter Mosier so good as a defensive coach?
Their communication, and it's a little bit of that pack line, and when you watch them attack the ball, they got a hands up, hand in the face. And I tell you, their scouting reports are so detailed, down to the last item.
They challenge everything. Nothing easy, an extra pass there. The other thing is their transition defense. They rarely get beat in transition, do they?
No, they talk about Rick Majerus. You get back and you show the numbers. 6 arms, 6 hands. It was one of those things Majerus prided himself at, that Porter Mosier brought with him off that St. Louis staff to Loyola.
Norris, and he'll go to
their hands. They show their hands defensively. Don't put them on your hips. Always win the free throw battle.
And Southern's got to be careful not to get down too deep too early. And now a double dribble call. That can't happen. It's like trailing a World Cup soccer team 1-0. You're done.
But Brian Mullins talks about the simplicity of passing and catching, the triple threat position. They were really good yesterday. Only 5 turnovers that win against Bradley.
Norris on the attack, but shut down by Williamson.
Good look by Verplanken. Way short. This is a short turnaround for the Salukis.
It wasn't a factor a year ago in the turnarounds, but early on we're seeing that. But I'm telling you, Loyola's got some fresh legs too. And there's some. How about Hudson coming in, giving them some points? one thing is that Porter Moser knows there's a quick turnaround tomorrow to the semis. He will not be afraid to use the bench. He's got a luxury now with a lead to do so.
Well, last Friday, Krutwig had some cramps late in that game. Hudson came in and got 4 points in 5 minutes against Southern Illinois. So he's got the confidence to play against Southern.
Harvey likes this matchup, but Norris able to hold the fort. Speaking of Loyola, there are none of the top 15 minutes played average of the players in the league are Loyola Ramblers, which tells you they'll spread those minutes out and use their bench. Good job by Devanzo defensively. Now the Salukis just have to figure out how to score. They try to drop kick this thing in.
Well, this is their hybrid team. They got Devanzo at the 5. They'll try to spread this court out. Look how open the lane is.
Devanzo injured his foot last night. There's a nice little baby hook for him, and the Salukis are on the board at the 14:34 mark.
They went with this lineup last Saturday with Devanzo at the 5. I call him the hybrid 5. Had a lot of success spreading the court and driving into the lane.
And Hudson giving Krutwig a rest and scoring at the same time.
Nice catch, kept the ball high, finished above the defense.
And a breakout, Tate Hall gets the layup. And the Ramblers are sparkling here early.
Well, live ball turnovers. Instant points for the Ramblers. They will run on opportunities. Salukis got to get something going.
And Devanzo trying to do it by himself. The Division II transfer hits a 3.
We had 16 at overtime loss. They used this same lineup.
Hudson testing fate that time, and here's a rare breakout for Southern Illinois. Brian Mullin.
And Glenville State, which is in West Virginia, Verplankton, originally from the Dominican Republic, spent a lot of time in Belgium. Get Belgium. This is where Nick Nurse got one of his starts coaching overseas. Get Belgium.
Krutwig so good at passing, and then the extra pass to Williamson for the 3. In the 2 games against Southern Illinois in Chicago last weekend, Williamson was 1 of 13 from 3. But that one puts the Ramblers back up by double digits.
Lucas Williamson off to a good start for the Ramblers.
This is off Tate Hall. Big man hockey assist, which you don't see big men pass the ball much at all. He loves to pass. He takes pride in it.
Mitch, last year he led all centers in the country in assists at over 4 per game. They asked him to score more this year, so his assists are down a bit, but still one of the best passing bigs in the nation.
Krut was just too early. Doesn't matter. They're up 10. They also get every rebound.
Ugwak, that's a man's rebound. Ugwak up in traffic.
Hall with a nice catch and good hands. There's Jacoby Long giving some bench minutes to Brian Mullins here. Devanzo with the 3. He's keeping a minute by himself. He has 8 of the 10 Saluki points, including 2 triples.
Well, there we talked about spread and attack. The ball went side to side, then dribble penetration, the kick out. Devanzo with an open 3.
Devanzo trying to hug Krut now on a single coverage inside, and Krut just destroys him.
How about his feel for the game? The 2 previous times he felt the double team coming from behind. That time, ball fake to move the defense and the baseline move.
He likes playing against these guys. Devanzo again testing the hot hand there. Krutwig in his career against Southern Illinois. 16 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 70% from the field. And there's maybe what he does best.
He saw that pass develop even before he caught the basketball. Porter Moser talks about recruiting him. Banks with a basket inside, but recruiting Krutwig, he said, if you came to the gym at the wrong time, you looked at this guy that played below the rim. He said, I watched him over 200 games in the summer on the AAU circuit and just fell in love with Krutwig's basketball IQ. Look at him right there. He's pointing for the ball. He wants a touch.
Two to shoot. Southern Illinois defends the shot clock all the way down.
Banks been active defensively, quick hands.
I mean, Krutwig may look like John Candy in the 80s movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but he plays the post like a Bill Russell or Wes Unseld from back in the day. The whole floor is activated with him. I said he's the nucleus of an atom, just protons and neutrons moving around it.
Wes Unseld, that's a good one, Mitch. I haven't thought of that before.
Well, you got to dig way back for that one.
Well, you're going to see right here.
Basketball.
We had to convince the presidents to do this at a neutral site. And you're right, Mitch. This is a big event in St. Louis. But what an innovator Doug Elgin has been. Also, the bracket buster. He came up with that concept. He's been on the NCAA committee to select the 68 team.
Is just way different than it was when he arrived as the head coach. Brian Mullins is trying to get that rebooted. Doug Elgin's done that from a conference standpoint, because he just put this conference at a whole different level than what it was when he took it over.
And a great vision, too. Creighton jumps to the Big East. They think it's greener pastures. He brings in this Loyola squad. What do? They go to the Final Four in 2018.
Second chance opportunity does not happen often for Southern, as Dalton Banks gets the second chance opportunity. In fact, only Air Force is worse in all of college basketball than the Salukis in offensive rebounding. But give them credit. They've been working hard.
Well, it looks like Southern's starting to get their legs back a little bit. Slow start, but they're climbing back into this game. Porter Moser, right, Mitch? He's going deep into his bench. Try to wear out the Salukis.
And Krutwig, great job against Warriors in the early 60s.
4 black starters for George Ireland. Jerry Harkness just mentioned. Vic Rouse, Les Hunter, Ron Miller. And they beat Cincinnati in overtime. Vic Rouse with the game winner. Bring home the national championship for the Ramblers.
And the famous game against Mississippi State, where Mississippi State was told they would not play Loyola because of the makeup of their roster. And Mississippi State snuck off campus in the middle of the night to play that game. And the famous photo, the handshake.
At Joe Dan Gold. Jerry Harkness, Joe Dan Gold became lifelong friends after that handshake.
Hudson, how about Hudson coming in here? The Twin Cities recruit. He's out of Edina, Minnesota. And 6 points for Jacob Hudson in this first half.
Well, they've used Welch earlier in the year than Hudson of late. Hudson, a bigger body. 6'10", 240 pound, and that dude is just a freshman.
Harvey had 24 last night. He's looking for his first points, and then he turns it over there. Well, they have shut Harvey down. Kennedy was trying to draw a foul, and Brian Mullins was going, wait a minute, he just passed it to himself.
Team, I like his game. You know, they get the shot clock situation. They put it in Kennedy's hands and let him go one-on-one. Porter says he's the fastest player he's ever coached.
Another example of Porter doing a great job of recruiting in the city of Chicago. Kennedy played out of Brother Rice.
Well, it started with Milton Doral was their first big recruit out of the city, and then Lucas Williamson, Marquise Kennedy.
Dante Ingram, part of that Final Four team. Well, there's just a heave. Trent Brown also shut down after he had 13 last night.
Well, the problem, you can't get any live ball turnover. Turning the ball over doesn't give the Salukis any run out or easy baskets.
Hudson, who's already tied his season high at 6, can get even more than. Boy, Filowich hadn't scored either. They've been living off this guy.
Hudson with the block.
Williamson, the quick look, and his second 3 of the first half. Lucas Williamson averages 8 per game. We know about his defensive prowess. He already has 8 points in this first half for the Ramblers.
Well, one of the misnomers about Loyola, they will look for the 3 ball in transition.
Biggest lead.
Shield that time, Kennedy, he was the bug.
But isn't that the same foot that he hurt last night? Devonza got hurt last night in the first half and came back in their victory over Bradley, but takes another shot again. Norris with a man down, able to take the clean look and get his first field goal to go with his 2 free throws.
Yeah, Ugwak with a solid screen. Free up Norris. Oh, Norris is, the more you watch him, the better you like his game. A coach's son, Porter Moses, this kid is a pit bull. I trust him with this team.
Salukis got to be careful. They'd be put on a barge and sent down the river here by these Ramblers. And Krutwig everywhere. Top 6 in the league in rebounding, and Loyola reset.
Porter Mosier calling for the reboot on this one.
Ooh, well done, Devonzo.
Salukis got to get something going here at the offensive end.
And if you joined us late, you followed the Salukis and know that Lance Jones had 30 against Loyola. Last Saturday, he injured his ankle last night. They tried to get him to go today. He was giving it all he could to try to play, and then finally just said no-go before the game. He injured the ankle early in the game last night against Bradley.
They're missing his offense today. Salukis just 28% from the field, 5 of 18.
Oh, and now, I mean, the injuries have mounted, and yet this league has persevered.
And Damask, went out in early January. He had 25 in that win over Butler for Southern. Broke that long win streak at Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Was it 39 games, I think?
No double.
Filowich goes right after Krut and scores. You know, the joke on campus at Southern Illinois was they called Filowich what the Canadian Krutwig. Filowich would probably call Krutwig the Algonquin Canadian.
That's a big confidence booster for Filowich because he did not score on Krutwig that game 6 days ago. 0 for 5 from the field.
Gafis hit a couple big threes in a game they needed against Valparaiso. They were taken to the buzzer.
And Trent Brown looks like he just got some wobbly legs. Everything's coming up short for Brown.
Still plenty of time for Loyola, and they go to Krutwig, and they'll do the nuclear science here again.
Well, that ball got stuck on the left side of the court. Usually you see side to side playing the second and third side for Loyola. That time, Salukis kept it pinned.
Filowich has got that down. He's done it twice in this half. He's got, I'm sorry, Devon's
Purposely for Brian Mullins to find. The scout report on the Slookies what the Ramblers were going to do. But Porter said, I had in there a triangle and two, so Brian would know this was a fake report because he knows I would never use a triangle and two.
So it was a dummy counterintelligence.
Yes.
Scouting report.
Left purposely on the table in the Gentile Center for Brian Mullins to find.
Well, Brian Mullins is leaning on Anthony DeVonzo right now. From Harwood Heights, Illinois. He had 16 as a career high twice, and he's sitting at 12. And Southern is staying within striking distance.
Oh, he's a tough matchup. Division II transfer, DeVonzo.
Krutwig with 4 to shoot. Tate Hall. And he gets fouled. What a hustle play. Ready to contribute to a top 20 program.
Well, Porter Moser likes to take those transfers and sit them out. He did the same thing with Ohir Ugwak. And go back to Clayton Custer. Also a transfer that sat out, developed. Get him part of the culture in the system.
Became Larry Bird Player of the Year.
Yeah, it's worked well for Porter. And he talks about bringing in those transfers. And we've got another one here with Braden Norris. Transferred in from Oakland. Norris has been a seamless transition into this offense.
And you know Krutwig loves to win those one-on-one battles against Filowich. It's like his little brother in a way. Filowich has got a great future, I think. 1.6 in the half. Disappointed. He had the shot he wanted in the half.
Field goals there. Ball movement has been excellent.
And a turnover to start the half. Brian
play that Southern was going to run.
He's yelling out Mullins' social security number as they're trying to get the play set. We got some security issues here between these two teams. They know each other too well.
Or maybe they left a scouting report for Loyola to find, but it wasn't the fake one.
It's the basketball version of cybersecurity here.
It reminds that story of Mike Leach left that scouting report as football coach with his scripted plays that were all fake.
And some GA walks in going, coach, I found this. Look at that. These two guys, so good for the league and good for college basketball and good for their campuses. You know, when Jerry Kill, who was then the athletic director, was able to orchestrate the Mullins hire, you just knew good things were going to happen again for Southern Illinois. Such great tradition on that campus. Filowich has had a rough day. Krutwig has had the better of it.
And Loyola with numbers, but not able to convert.
Filowich thought he was held. I'm sorry, DeVonzo thought he was held. Trying to get DeVonzo the ball to start this second half. And Ugwak uses his power to get his second bucket of the game.
Takes the power bounce to get his strength and then finish in traffic. I was happy to see Ugwak make that all defensive team because he's kind of the silent assassin here for Loyola.
A rare easy bucket. Verplanken going down the boulevard, and just take a look at that. You won't see it very often. Somebody just slicing in the middle of Loyola's defense.
Yeah, help side defense did not sink over that time, but Clemens with the answer.
He's been an answer out there. Over an 11-game span, he was shooting 56% from three. He had 4 big threes against Valpo. They're going to lose that game.
Well, they made that change where they put Tate Hall on the bench and brought Clemens back in.
Be sure to download the Arch Madness app presented by Schnucks, a proud sponsor of Valley Athletics. This is a really good app, by the way. I mean, some apps are not so much. This one's really good. Valley's done an excellent job in the digital world. Valley's just done
in the country to get every league game in.
There's some leagues scrambling. try to get, some equity.
Yeah, that back-to-back is a genius moves. Clemens.
Not easy, but genius.
Yes, and Clemens, since he moved that starting lineup, he's hit 43% on his long-range attempts. Or he's 43 in the season. He's higher than that since he moved.
Neck and now swinging him in glee as Marquise Kennedy comes back into the game after that injury in the first half.
He might went in the locker room, got a little holy water from Sister Jean, fix that ankle.
Well, they were challenged big time by the Southern Illinois Saluki team. In fact, Lance Jones missed a free throw. He had 3 to make 3. 7 games. We're sitting here on what, March the 3rd or 4th, 5th of trying to get these games in.
Yeah, back-to-back, building a couple weekends for makeups, and they did, have to deal with COVID interruptions with a number of these teams, including Southern Illinois during the season. Of course, the Drake Bulldogs, we're going to see later on, they also had a COVID interruption.
Been a rough day for Trent Brown after a good night last night. You look at the Big 12, Baylor, all right, number 2 in the country for the most part, right up behind Gonzaga before they lost to Kansas, but they went 22 days in February without playing. And now there's going to
assassin this Loyola team.
I just think they've got their legs back a little bit after just being a little weary in those back-to-back games against Southern Illinois. Had them in the game in Rogers Park.
To Drake, to Missouri State, to Indiana State.
Yeah.
And Porter complained about the time, but then after they won those games, the one loss at Drake, he realized how much it helped his net numbers, those road wins. But they had the toughest schedule of anybody in the league.
Jacob Hudson has tapped it out twice. Now, Loyola's got a nationally recognized volleyball team in men's volleyball. They've been a past national champion. Hudson is playing the net here in volleyball twice, tapping it out. And the Rambler volleyballers that are watching this game going, yeah, like it. And now a foul on. So these hotels are awesome. You got your youth sports teams and vacations. Make sure those are the places you stay in the Valley footprint.
Always gold in Cedar Falls. Make sure that car starts in the morning. Williamson got it going.
Gold for him. How about him with 11 points? 34% from 3 for the year. That's zinging in 3 in this game.
We just saw that little piece on Ben Richardson, and Porter Moser talks about when he got hurt and Lucas Williamson was a freshman. Now Richardson took Lucas under his wing.
Hudson spent a little time with Krutwig on those double team skip passes out of the post. A lad from Medina, Minnesota has had a good game, and Kennedy, who had the injury in the first half, gets his first points of the game after averaging 15 points in his previous 4 games of his career against Southern Illinois.
And we've got 15 assists on the 19 made field goals for the Ramblers.
Nice block by the Salukis. Devonzo's had a nice game in some tough circumstances here. I mean, he is carrying the Egyptian dog flag right now and gutting through a little bit of a foot injury he had last night. I mean, he's sitting here with half their points and working hard on the defensive end too. See him in the middle of the screen, number 33.
And that last shot for Plankin with an open 3, but weary legs for the Salukis. They had that 5 o'clock game last night.
Porter Moser's getting what he's wanting. Not only everybody getting in the act, Norris with 9 now, but he's getting a blowout in the quarterfinals, and that allows him to spread these minutes out. That is a luxury in this tournament.
And he's got 3 bench players in the lineup right now with Kennedy, Hudson, and Tate Hall. Mom and Dad, Peg and Jeff, they went to every game in Carbondale. And when Peg drives, it takes him 8 hours and 45 minutes. When Jeff drives, it takes him 9.5. Mom's got the lead foot.
Well, they're using different Google Maps directions.
No, I asked him. She's got the lead foot.
Okay, I got it. Well, the lead foot is off Ben Harvey finally. 24 last night. His first 3 points of the game come at 13:07 and in transition.
And hopefully that's a lid lifter for Ben Harvey.
I'm impressed with Hudson here.
Yes.
In the post. He's doing good things. Now a walk and a turnover. Porter, how many steps does he do in a game? It's got to be in the 6 figures.
Well, the Twitter account, Porter's jacket, it would have came off
that
a long time ago, but the second half, that turnover would have got the jacket removed.
I mean, I tell you, it's 100,000 steps during a game. That might be in a half.
Uguak, quick hands.
He's not on the All-Valley defensive team for nothing.
I like Porter Moser's story about his first game with Rick Majerus. He's waiting for that big rah-rah pregame speech, and Rick Majerus walks in and he says, defend and rebound, walk back out. And he said it was that way every game. Defend and rebound.
Uguak had to launch. He was running out of time. He'll make a few out there if he's only hit 10 all year. But Loyola's eating some shot clock. In control of this game. Filowich only has Missouri State.
Yeah, that Missouri State team has been under the radar. Unless you've seen them play, 2 of the top scorers in the league. I put down Gage Prim as one of my most improved players, even though he didn't make that team. Mosley did. Prim playing at a high level.
Mitch Holtis along with Kevin Lehman here in this first round. You get a 20-20 like Gage Prim, it'll get your attention. 20-20, not a double-double, not 10-10. 20-20.
A healthy Gage Prim, a little banged up last year. And we got a lot of good basketball left in this tournament. Oh, high-low look. Nice play.
Bonzo's made the most of his opportunities. 14 for him, and he's 2 off a career high.
That's textbook. Pin your man. Dump down. To Bonzo. From Filowich, the 5-man.
There's a 3 as the bench. Paxton Wojcik. Yes, his dad, former star at Navy, but Paxton with 3 bench points, and the Ramblers getting everybody in the game.
High-low again. Krutwig sniffed it out.
How about Krutwig, a post?
About, when you're trying to drive in, you got to go one less dribble against this Loyola team because they will swipe at the basketball and you try to get penetration.
You know, Krutwig's resume, you start to look at it historically. He's doing his thing inside. Krut again with 8 points, all in the first half. But all of a sudden you start to look at him, this year's Larry Bird Player of the Year historically. I mean, he compares to the greatest players to ever be in this league. Guys like Percy Hawkins and Larry Bird and Oscar Robertson, I'm not kidding.
Well, when you talk about that 1,500 point club, 800 rebounds, 300 plus assists, you mentioned he's in that with Oscar, Larry, and Hersey, but there's only been 13 players to reach that in the last 10.
Look at the other guys on this list.
Yeah, you only have to mention by their first name. Now he's at 900 rebounds, and you mentioned just past Jerry Harkness on the scoring record. But Porter Moser told me this: there's been 13 guys in Division I basketball to match that. He is the only one that is a center, and this is in the last 10 years.
Decided to stay at Loyola and has left a imprint for all time on that campus by what he's done on and off the campus and what this basketball program has meant to every alum and student and friend and fan of the program. It has been quite a run for these guys. You look at winning this league 3 out of 4 years that Krut's been eligible.
Well, I can speak from experience firsthand. As you know, I have a son, Calvin Lehman, who's a 2009 graduate of Loyola. And he did not follow the basketball team back in 08 and 09, but he is glued to the television set today.
Question is, too, back. I mean, his numbers, he put another year into those numbers. Oh, my goodness. Back this league, what, Drake? We're going to see them at 5 o'clock. They're talking about getting all those guys back. They're already older than the Bulls and Timberwolves, and I kid you not, their average age of their starters is older than the Bulls and the Timberwolves.
And the Atlanta Hawks, they're older than 3 NBA teams. A number of those guys already work on their master programs for the Drake Bulldogs.
Dembele saves the day. Group that's deep for the Ramblers. I mentioned none of the top 15 players in the league in minutes played on the average are Ramblers. Same thing with Drake. Now, Drake's had that affected of late because of the injuries, but it gives you an idea. The 2 best teams in this league have been the 2 deepest teams.
If you're going to win championships, you've got to have bench production, and Loyola certainly has that. Here's another stat that jumped out at me. Loyola leads the league in assists, Mitch, but they don't have any player in the top 10 individually. That's how well they share this basketball.
Hudson hits this one. It's a big day for him. 10 points for Jacob Hudson, hitting the 3.
He might be the guy pushing Krutwig out the door. Get your degree and go make some money. Hudson's ready to step in for the Ramblers.
Well, the Rambler Nation's going, wait a minute, we'll find minutes for both of them.
For Hudson. 3rd 3 of the year.
Still not a career high at 15 early this year. Simbali does a good job of getting something for Southern at the end of that possession.
A good strong move inside by Dembele.
He's going to try it again. Why not? It's his day. 13 for Jacob Hudson. Look at Krut. Krut's never made a 3.
Oh, he made one to beat Northern Iowa.
That's right, he made one.
Sophomore year.
Not this year.
As the buzzer was going down.
Back in the 19th century when Krut got one.
Broke the backs of the Panthers.
How about Hudson back-to-back, though, getting it done from 3-point range. And some would say 39 points. Come on. Well, again, they're averaging, giving up 52 on the average since the 10th of January.
Oh, Mitch, he got up out of his chair and took the laptop with him and walked down the hallway and showed me a plaque that had Clayton Custer, MVP, regular season champion, Marcus Towns, MVP, regular season championship. He said that's how important it is to this program and to Cameron Krutwig. Then he walked back down the hallway and sat down at his desk. End of conversation.
You see Krutwig's looked on that glass close-up, though. He's looking at Porter Mosier like, you don't let me shoot threes, and you're letting Hudson go out there and just tee him up.
Wow.
Yeah, Ugwak started the game that way.
Oh, has he improved his game? You know, as a sophomore and junior, no one guarded him. They plugged the middle. Now you have to put a man on Ugwak.
Ugwak almost got the pick 6 there. Yeah, these guys, this Loyola Rambler team plays, it's the best defense Chicago's seen since the '85 Bears.
Krutwig,
they don't even
big Bears fan.
Well, they don't give up even 60. Like, this is the day. And if you're the guy giving up the easy layup, it's like, don't go see the rest of the guys. And finally, a bucket for Trent Brown. That's his first of the game after having 13 last night. He averages 7, but it's been a rough day for him.
And he is the first player that Brian Mullins signed when he took that position at Southern Illinois. Coming from a winning program, trying to build the culture at Southern.
Now Ugwak's out there hitting threes. Look at
There's your guy,
Let me back in. I want to shoot him. Boy, after last year's quarterfinal upset when Valparaiso beat these guys, you know, rivalry between those two teams. But when the 7 beat the 2 and Loyola was eliminated, you just got the indication at Porter, even after being particularly big guys.
I remember that one triple by Krutwig. It was a buzzer beater in the last minute at Gentile Center, and it put them up 3 over the Panthers.
Did he make one for Algonquin?
It was deep, and the shot clock horn was going off.
Well, if you get a luxury of getting a quarterfinal game like this in this tournament, it's almost like winning 2 games. Just compare it to last. Only beaten a 2 one time in the history of the Missouri Valley Conference postseason tournament. But on one day, the 8 beat the 1 and the 7 beat the 2.
And Southern, you know, we talked about that big game.
And there's your pick 6, Baylor Heb.
We talked about that Friday-Saturday series. You know, Lance Jones with 30 points. He's not available for the Salukis tonight. He's on the sideline with that bad ankle. A lot of offense missing from Southern.
Day. It was announced the Cardinals are going to allow fans to start the season, some fans. And that was, of course, met with rejoicing throughout the Redbird Nation.
And that next matchup, Tyreek Key, who they held out over the weekend because of a partially dislocated shoulder, he's ready to go today.
Yeah, it was just precaution, as you alluded to. It wasn't because they weren't going to move off the 4-5 line. There's that last series against Valparaiso was not going to do anything to affect their status in this tournament. So Greg Lansing used it to give Key some time to get ready for this game.
And Trey Williams made the all-defensive team. Jake Moravia against Evansville in the 3-point shooting.
Right. But how big a deal is it for Porter Moser to basically not have to pedal hard in this game, especially in the second half? Because these are quick turnarounds going to the semis tomorrow.
And ball movement even from the bench.
There's been the one bright spot for Southern Illinois in this game, Devanzo.
16, same amount he had Saturday night in Rogers Park against the Ramblers.
Devanzo tying a career high with that 16-point total. Oh, now he's got a new career high. Devanzo with 18 of the 14 today, and it's working as they're blowing out the Salukis 71-49 after surviving SIU on Saturday at Rogers Park to win the title.
And their 3-point defense was stifling. 4 of 17 for the Salukis. Southern hit 12 threes in one game in that game at Rogers Park.
And Loyola Chicago is going to hold another team possibly under 50 here if Southern doesn't get this shot down. And this has been classic Rambler basketball here. And for Brian Mullins, just not enough troops. Losing Lance Jones, I mean, he'll get Damask back. They're getting it done. He wants to build it right. I said last night he's doing it organically. He does want to microwave things in Carbondale. If you're buying some stock and you want to buy it low and sell high, buy Southern Illinois stock with Brian Mullins. He can coach.
Well, we saw it last night in that big victory over Bradley. He's putting the culture in place. He's got the young players he wants. This is a team, freshmen and sophomores, over 85% of their scoring and of their rebounding.